In 2006, Mamoru Hosoda technically released his third feature film after the Digimon movie and One Piece, called The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. The film follows Makoto Konno, a student that unexpectedly finds herself having the ability to leap back in time. After her bicycle malfunctions and she hurdles towards an oncoming train, Makoto somehow travels back in time to where this accident does not take place. From there, Makoto uses her ability to travel back in time nonchalantly. She uses it to get good grades, to enjoy more free time, and to avoid difficult questions.
俺と付き合えば?
But unaware to her is that there is a limit to how many times she can go back, and the first day she gained this ability becomes the last day for her to use it. And what ensues is her friend Kousuke uses that same bike that was broken and hurdles down towards that same oncoming train that was meant to hit Makoto, killing him, leaving Makoto distraught. But luckily for her, there is another user who can travel through time, another friend, Chiake. He goes back in time and stops that accident from happening, but that leaves him stranded in a time that he isn't supposed to be in.
だから、俺のいた時代に戻れなくなった。
だからなんで？
康介が乗るはずだったお前の自転車をかっぱらってきた分で、俺にチャージされた分はなくなっちまった。
However, Makoto figures out how to get everything back to normal and says goodbye to Chiake as he goes back to his own time, and the movie ends. The Girl Who Leapt Through Time has one clear question: what would you do if you could go back in time? And that is a fascinating question because it is one that a lot of people would ask themselves, especially the older we get. When we grow old, we have more regrets, more questions, and more time to reflect. And for someone who is older and has that ability to go back, they might use their time more wisely. Maybe change careers, get more qualifications, or ask those questions that they were too afraid to ask. But for Makoto, a girl that is still in school, she uses her ability to live the current life she has, to hang out with friends longer or to eat some food she missed out on. There is a simplicity to what she wants, and for that she does not think about the consequences, how changing one aspect of life can affect the people around you, from the changing teams in a cooking lesson or even saving someone from an accident. They all have consequences, and that is life. For Makoto, she tries to acquire a perfect life that has no awkward moments or troubling days. She just wants to be happy for a long time. And we all do. We all want every day to be perfect, where we don't say or do the wrong things. We just want our lives to be full of happy memories. So, can we judge the way that Makoto uses her ability to keep going back and making these changes? She tries to make other people happy, such as for Kousuke and the other girl to get together, even though Kousuke originally said no. But how does that affect the future and the person that was meant to fall in love with Kousuke at a later date, and how that might never happen? Makoto's aunt even hints about the danger of changing the past because it changes the course for the future, how one change can affect one person negatively.
誠がいい目見てる分、悪い目を見てる人がいるんじゃないの?
So the question the movie asks us is, if we were in the same position as Makoto, would we do the same as her? Time is scary because, as the movie says, time waits for no one. The older you get, the more you learn, and for that, the more you understand, which coincides with the more you regret because you now are very different from the person you were many years ago. You have matured, grown more confident, and now look back at moments in your life wishing you had done something different, because you have acquired more life skills. But if you had the ability to go back and keep changing and making sure life was always going your way, would you truly be happy? A life where you were never asked awkward questions, or a life that allowed you to keep retaking tests until you got every question right? In theory, yes, that sounds amazing. But your mistakes and your ability to keep going is what makes your life exciting. The constant battle to keep improving and to keep moving is what makes life amazing. And I know that isn't always the case. There will be times where life is shit and you just want to start the day all over again. But those moments of doubt and those moments of failure is what makes the good times even better. To live life and enjoy every moment. You won't, I won't. But time waits for no one, so we keep going and we keep learning and we keep playing because in a blink of an eye, it could all be gone. After Makoto turned back time and avoided death by the oncoming train, she must have thought that she cannot take any moment for granted, so she kept replaying it, kept hanging out with friends or eating her favourite meals.
こんなことになるなら、もっと早く起きたのに。寝坊なんかしないし、遅刻もしない。 天ぷらももっとうまく揚げる。
But life will eventually move on, and you cannot avoid that, symbolized by the fact that Kousuke took her place on the bike and rode down that street and was going to get hit by that train that was meant for her. Terrible things in life are unavoidable, but that doesn't mean life is terrible. This is what Chiake represents. He is a character that was from the future and went back in time to see this famous painting, a painting he couldn't even see in the end.
どうしても見たい絵があったんだ。
But he got caught up with Makoto and Kousuke and forgot that he had to go back to his own time. He allowed himself to just live life. Like he said,
帰らなきゃいけなかったのに、いつの間にか夏になった。お前らといるのがあんまり楽しくてさ。
one day summer came right around the corner and he didn't even realize how long he had been in this time. We don't know how he uses his time leap in the future, but it would not be too hard to imagine that he might have used it like Makoto, but during his time with her, he just let time tick by without going back, allowing life to move in sync with him. Not him dictating, but letting his actions and his mistakes and his happiness to keep moving forward. Shown by how he plucked up the courage to ask Makoto out, a moment he probably wishes he could go back to get the right answers, and a moment that Makoto went back to avoid. But like I said earlier, life will move on, and those awkward moments sometimes makes for the best memories. Mamoru Hosoda's The Girl Who Leapt Through Time tells a tale as old as time, a tale about the ability to go back to relive or change events that happened, and the character of Makoto is about how changing the past to fit your ideal world can still lead to outcomes that may disappoint you. So instead of changing the past, maybe the best option is to change the future.
あの絵、未来へ帰ってみてね。千秋の時代にも残ってるように。なんとかしてみる。
To learn from mistakes, to grow and become better. Because remember, time waits for no one.